Hi everyone, this is Teacher Jen and we will discuss a lesson from Essential Grammar in Use book by Raymond Murphy. Today we will discuss a lesson about the helping verbs was and were. Was and were. So, as we all know, these helping verbs are in the past tense. These are the verbs or the past tense of the verb be. And when we said past tense, that means we are talking about an action that happened before now or before this time now. Now, let's take a look at the picture here. This is Robert. We can see him and this is what he's doing right now. This is what's happening to him right now. But we have another picture. This is what happened to Robert last night. Now, let's discuss the following sentences here. Let's read the first one. Now, Robert is at work. Now, Robert is at work. As you can see, we use the verb is in this sentence because the action is happening now. So this is in the present tense. Let's go on to the next sentence. At midnight, last night, he wasn't at work. At midnight last night, he wasn't at work. So, as you can see, we use the verb was not here. We use the verb was because the action is already in the past tense. The action is already finished or done because it happened last night. Now, let's go on to another sentence. He was in bed. He was in bed. Now, as you can see, again, we use the past tense or the verb was. Why did we use the word was in this sentence? Because it happened already in the past. Now, it's already morning for Robert, and of course, he was in bed last night. So the action is already in the past. Now, let's go on to another sentence. He was asleep. He was asleep. Again, we use the verb was. We use the verb was because the action happened last night, and now it's already morning for Robert. So, that's why we use the word was. Okay? Did you get it? It's very easy, right? Now, let's discuss more sentences about present tense and past tense of these verbs. Now, let's talk about am, is, and was first. We all know that am and is in the present tense, and the past form of these verbs is was. Now, let's have some examples. First one, I am tired. I am tired. So, we have the pronoun I, so we should use the verb am. And of course, because of this verb, we know that this action is now. So it's in the present tense. I am tired now. Next, where is Kate? In this question, we use the verb is. So we know that the question is asking about the person Kate now. Next sentence. The weather is good today. The weather is good today. So again, we use the verb is, and we have a very, very good clue here. It is written here, or it is mentioned, that the time is today. So of course, if the time is today, it's today. So the verb is in the present tense. So that's why we use is. Now, let's go on to the past tense of these sentences, okay? Now the first one, let's read it. I was tired last night. I was tired last night. So as you can see, we use the verb was because again we have a time expression here. The action happened last night. So because of that action or because of that time expression, our verb is was. So we know that action is already in the past tense. Where was Kate yesterday? Where was Kate yesterday? Again, we use the verb was and we have the time expression yesterday. So we know that this action happened yesterday. So that's why we use the verb was. Now, let's go on to the next sentence. The weather was good last week. The weather was good last week. So as you can see, we use the verb was because the action happened last week. So thus, it's in the past tense. Very good, guys. Now, let's go on to the plural form of these verbs. We have are and were. Of course, are is still a present tense, but when it comes to were, it's in the past tense. Now, let's read the following examples. You are late. You are late. Now, we use the verb are because of the pronoun you. This is an exception, as you know, because we use plural forms of the verb for the pronoun you. Anyway, we used are because the time is now. So, we can also say or think that the action happened now because the verb is are. Now, let's go on to the next. They aren't here. They aren't here. So as you can see, we used again are, and because of that, we know that the action is present. Okay, so it's happening now. Also, it's are because the pronoun is plural or many. Okay? Now, let's go on to the past tense form of are, and that is were. So, first one, from the first sentence of are, you were late yesterday. You were late yesterday. So here, we use the verb were because the action happened yesterday. Okay, so that means it's in the past tense. Next one, they weren't here last Sunday. They weren't here last Sunday. So again, as you can see, we use the verb were because the action happened last Sunday. So that means it's in the past tense. So, is it easy, guys? Of course it's easy. So now, I would like you to review this lesson and memorize everything about these verbs. Please review this thoroughly because we will have some exercises for this lesson. Also, I would like you to encourage, or I would like to encourage you to enroll in camgush.com's classes because we can definitely help you improve your English skills. Now, it's time for me to say goodbye. So I hope you learned something from our lesson today. Goodbye, students. See you next time.